Welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to learn a little bit more and further our understanding of Java methods and their behaviors. So I have here two things. You see max of 2 and 10, so that should print 10, the first call. And then max of 33, 10, and -4 should print, of course, 33 there. Now, notice that I have max here with 2 parameters and max here with 3 parameters. And that's achieved with what's called function overloading here. So I have 2 versions of max. They both have the same name, but they have different parameter lists. So this is known as overloading the method name. So the same name with the same functionality, but the method signature must be different. So the signature is the name of the function, max in this case, plus the parameter list. The parameter list can vary in number and in type to generate a different signature. So in this case, the parameters differ in number. This has 2 parameters. This has 3 parameters. If it had been double or other different types of parameters, that would also vary the method signature. In this case, we use numbers to differentiate between this call to this method and a call to this method. So Java is not restricted in terms of the method name being unique, but the method name plus the parameter list must be unique. That's the function signature. So let's run this and we'll see how it goes. Make sure that it works. Okay, 10 here's the maximum and 33 is the maximum here. So function overloading. Next, I'm going to modify this example so we can see one other aspect of Java methods. So we saw in the previous example how you could use function overloading to create a function called max with either 2 parameters or 3 parameters. But what if you want to have 1 parameter or 6 parameters or 60 parameters? That method in particular would become quite cumbersome. So there's an alternative here, and that is to allow differing numbers of parameters. And it has this syntax in Java. You have the data type here, and then ... and then the parameter name, integers. This will cause the compiler to create an array for us. So these 2 parameters will be put into an array containing the values 2 and 10 and so forth. So integers is basically an array inside the context of max here. So this would allow a single method instead of overloading it 4 different ways. We can use a single method, and this will build an integer parameter for us with an array with 2 values, 3 values, 1 value, or 6 values. So quite useful. So let's look at the code here. So again, integers is treated like an array. Also here we have integer. Remember that integer is a wrapper class that has, it's a wrapper for integer, but it also has utility methods and constants in it, including min value and max value, where min value is the minimum possible integer, -2 billion in sum. So our candidate value RC is set to the lowest possible integer. And then as we loop through our array, recall that the compiler builds an array for us, and as we loop through that array, when we find a larger value than our current candidate value, we replace our candidate value with the larger value that has just been found, and then we return that value that will allow us to do this variable length call here. So the data type, ... and then the name. The compiler will build us an array, and that way we can have a variable number of parameters in a Java method. So really that completes what we want to do for methods. To fill them out, we went over function overloading and also method with variable numbers of parameters using this special syntax here.